was really stressful for me to get my grades up, like especially this term because I procrastinated more than I usually do. And like I feel like my classes were more difficult this term, and then on top of my own grades, I was worrying about my friends' grades, and then like not showing up to class to get their work done and just doing their homework in general. Everyone else seemed to procrastinate, but that was stressing me out because I was worrying about my grades, my friends' grades, and like if everyone was gonna be able to get them up or not.
I probably had a stack of papers like this big to do the last day or so of the term, and really that's easily avoidable, just coming in earlier. It's like, and especially in math, right as you miss something, it would be better to talk about it then rather than 3 weeks later at the end of the term. But yeah, you guys don't like being in a crunch, we don't like being in a crunch, so just work on it throughout the semester and it'll reduce that stress, that big stress overall.
Yes, it's stressful and it's just silly because you have like tests or whatever class it's in. Usually you've got some sort of quiz or something. If you wait to do your assignments till after the quiz or test, you don't know the stuff. And so then you're trying to get quiz and test scores up too. Just silly.
I had to run around and talk to all of my teachers, hoping that they'd be super nice to me and like, yeah, you can make your grade up and stuff. And I had to be really, really nice to them. And it was just really, really stressful. I literally didn't ever sleep. I did homework. Homework is the new sleep. Can't do anything now. Can't retake tests or anything like that. So I had to just do a bunch of assignments over again, and it was the worst.
It was horrible, and I failed chemistry, so love that. And it was the worst time of my life. Lots of mental breakdowns. I cried a lot. It was a good time.
Yeah, it gets pretty stressful because there's a lot of people who tend to procrastinate and turn things in. I don't tend to dock for late work, so I don't know if that like helps me, but I guess it makes it easier on the students. But I mean, it all works out. The teachers usually have a couple days to grade things after the end of the term.
I always say I shouldn't procrastinate, but then I always do, and I always screw myself over.
You want your students to be successful and help them, so you try to do all that you can.
The last week of the term was the most stressful because I didn't do any of my work until the last week really, and if I would have just worked on my stuff the entire term, then I wouldn't have had to stress so much the very last week to try and do an entire term's assignment in 5 days.
I think it's going to be stressful either way, especially if you're missing something to have to make it up. But definitely waiting until the last week, if you've done it for all of your classes, it's like now you're trying to do half of a term's work in all classes in 1 week, and just kind of builds and builds and then gets too big and it kind of get that feeling of despair that you can't finish. So it's just easier to do it as you go.
This last term was much better than first term, I will say that. But still, it's stressful for me and the students when they procrastinate until the last week. And then they're worried about if I'm going to take their assignment or not. Just get it done when you're supposed to and you'll be much happier.
Percentage? Probably like, at the end of the term, probably like 75% of them.
Let's see, out of my kids, it was probably about half of them that could have done stuff a little sooner. Some people just made quizzes or tests up at the end to get a better score, but a lot of the missing work could have been turned in weeks earlier and not that last week.
10%, which is kind of a lot.